Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. By the video title, you know what this video is about. Discussing some college football stuff, of course. As you guys seen, the crazy game-winning field goal by Georgia Tech going out there and defeating Clemson. Clemson was ranked 12th, but they're not going to be ranked 12th anymore. Georgia Tech might be ranked after this week. That's a big-time victory. You start the game up 13-0. I see Dabo Swinney throwing his headset off at the end of the game after the field goal went in, but I'm like, hey, your team was down 13-0. You start, Georgia Tech was up 13-zip, and then we started seeing, of course, Clemson try to come back in there. They started making some plays, of course, as well. But it just wasn't enough. Westcombe had a pretty good game for Clemson. Had the big touchdown, of course, as well. But it just wasn't enough for them to win this game. And they did tie it at one point, too. The game got tied at one point, but it left a lot of time on the clock. And you can see Haynes King. I don't know how he's still standing. He took a lot of hits against Colorado, first game. Last game, he had too many hits, of course, in that game. But took a lot of hits today as well, a lot of carries, and you kind of see that he's kind of like banged up. He getting those handoffs and stuff as well, and he like slow to get up and to help him off the ground. I know he's tough and stuff, but sometimes you gotta like, okay, he's taking a little too many hits. But got the victory, 3-0 right now. 3-0 right now. Got the big time victory, of course. Haynes King had 100 rushing yards, I believe, in this game as well. Touchdown pass in the air. That 2-point conversion play call was very good too as well. The double toss and then throwing it, the receiver throwing it to the another receiver, a little trick play. But that right there was a big time victory for Georgia Tech. They got the job done, was able to get it done, and that's a perfect walk off too as well. Like you look at it's 26 seconds, you snap the ball, you only get a few yards, then your kicking team got to come right out there. You're lined up, and I think his career long was 51, but now 55 yarder, hit that and got a victory. So now we're going to see, of course, what happens with some of the rankings and stuff as well. And we see a lot of upsets this season. A lot of upsets, of course, from a lot of different teams this season. We're going to see how things kind of continue to go. Now, next, let me discuss some of the games that already happened, of course. I mentioned Colorado yesterday. I'm going to get to Colorado a little bit more later in this video. But Indiana State, got defeated by Indiana, of course. That little battle of the stakes. But, some of those games like that be like just mismatches. They lost 73-0. Alabama get a victory. Type Simpson looked pretty good in that game, but it was Wisconsin. They beat them 38-14. I mentioned, of course, Georgia Tech defeating Clemson in that game. Oklahoma blowing out Temple right now. Oregon beating Northwestern, of course. Michigan beating Central Michigan, of course. Those are the games like, okay, you guys just playing. You're just playing for fun. Auburn beating South Alabama, of course. Missouri beating Louisiana, of course. But we got some big games coming up. We got Georgia versus Tennessee. That should be good. It's coming on right now, I think. I'm going to do a video probably right after the game and see what happens. That should be a very good game. We're going to see exactly who comes out on top. Georgia, of course, their team is always well-rounded. They always, especially defensively, they always have a good defensive team. So we'll see how things happen in that game. Also, you look at Colorado, I want to talk about too, the quarterback situation going on over there. Because they had Salter starting at one point, and then they benched Salter, and then Dewaylan Lewis, he's the young guy, he's like 17, 18. I don't think they want to throw him out there fully yet. I know some young quarterbacks like Michigan guy Underwood, he's out there playing right away. He looked good in week 1, but against Oklahoma, against a ranked opponent, he didn't look the best, of course. And he looked good today as well, like playing, of course, but it's not the same, of course, like when you play against a ranked opponent. But I think Colorado's gonna wait and see how things transpire a little bit. But Staub made some plays here and there yesterday, but you can tell it just wasn't working. It wasn't clicking. Mostly due to the offensive line, though. That's the main thing. Colorado offensive line is the main thing that's been hurting them. When they had Shedeur Sanders there, Shedeur Sanders, of course, is a good enough player to overcome that. It went 9-4 last year. The first year was rough. They started off 4-0, then they started losing those games, a lot of close games, and eventually your quarterbacks are getting hit so many times. I think in Colorado, he took so many sacks. He like 50-something sacks the first year, 40 plus, almost 50 sacks the second year as well. And Staub took a lot of hits yesterday too against Houston. So they gotta fix that O-line. That's the main thing Colorado need. And college football is all about any football actually, but mostly in college, you gotta have the trenches. If you can't play in the trenches, it's gonna be very difficult for you to do anything in college football and football in general. But that's the main thing for them. So we'll see if they stick with Staub or they go back to Salter or do a combination of two. We used to see that with Oklahoma. Remember they had Caleb Williams and they had Spencer Rattler playing both at the same time. Maybe they do something like that. I don't know, but they got to figure something out. I don't think they want to throw the young guy out there or to the Wolves yet. They want to kind of wait a little bit, but do something. Need some type of spark to see how get something kind of going fully. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's some of the stuff happening so far. That was a big time victory by Georgia Tech, going out there getting that win against Clemson. That was definitely a shocking victory. While watching the game, I was like, okay, Georgia's up. No, they're up again. Okay, like just watching, I was like, they're doing a pretty good job. And then when I started seeing Clemson surge back, I was like, oh, here we go. All of them start making those plays. I'm like, here we go. And then Georgia held their own. They held their own like that and started clawing themselves back in the game. Of course, the game got tied up at one point as well. And you're like, okay. And then Georgia had the ball back at the end. Game-winning field goal, walk-off victory. I was like, that's big time right there. So Georgia Tech is making some noise. We know South Florida made some noise too as well. FSU, Florida State made some noise too as well. So those some teams right there is kind of like sleeping teams a little bit. Sleeper teams, and possibly, I don't know. Like they keep doing what they're doing, make a run. But Haynes King, he can't hit them hits anymore. I feel like the hits that he's taking a lot of hits like that. We've seen it from week 1 to week 3 now. Taking a lot of hits. So maybe the coach might start switching some things up. I don't even want to use his legs and stuff. He might have to mix it up a little differently, because I feel like he ain't gonna last the whole entire season if he keep taking these hits that he's taking. Because he had like what? Let me pull it up. I think he had like 21 carries today, if I'm not mistaken. He had like 21 carries. Yeah, he had a crazy amount of carries. Where are they at? Oh, right there. There you go. How many carries he had? He had about 25 carries. Yeah, 25 carries today, 101 yards. He was 20 for 28, 211 yards, of course, passing, but has a lot of hits he's taking. He took a lot of hits. He had more carries than a running back. And a lot of those, some of those, of course, were scrambles, but most of those were design runs, quarterback keepers. So I hope they find a way to kind of like balance it, because he's taking a lot of hits, and like that. You're seeing him kind of get slow. Even before the field goal, came out there, hit to help him up off the ground, for him to kind of like just drag his body across to get out of there. So we'll see how things go. But Georgia Tech, that's a big time victory for them. And, we're gonna see exactly what happens in this Tennessee and Georgia game. So I'll probably see you guys a little bit later for a little short video. So be on the lookout for that. Peace out.